In the news tonight, some advice for Barbadians that could help keep them out of the emergency room this Christmas. The Salvation Army still short of the mark set for its Christmas kettle appeal. Former cabinet member Sir Warwick Franklin is laid to rest. And coming up in sports, Shane Brathwaite takes home the lion's share of honors at the BOA Awards.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom. Thanks for joining us. In our top story tonight, Barbadians are being urged to desist from a common practice which could land them in the emergency room this holiday season. Emergency room specialist Dr. Hilary Moore revealed that cases of gastroenteritis are common at this time of the year, particularly because food is not handled properly. One of the things she's asking people not to do is place meat on the counter or sink to defrost.
Ideally, what you should do is let any type of meat actually defrost inside of the fridge. So really don't put them on the counter and don't put them in water. The reason why, if you put them in water, you leave them on the counter, you're going to get a lot of bacteria growing on the outside while the inside is still raw and still trying to thaw. So you actually can get bacterial growth. So ideally what you should do, so you know it is now Christmas time, so we have the hams, we have the turkeys, the everything. This is the time when you actually should be taking them down because some are going to take a few days to defrost, but the safest place to defrost the meat is actually in your fridge.
Dr. Moore, who was a guest on CBC TV8's Morning Barbados, also issued a word of caution about the consumption of leftovers.
Even though the fridge delays bacterial growth, it doesn't stop it because the fridge is still cold, but it's not sub-freezing temperatures. Okay. So bacteria can still grow. And don't remember, you're always going to be opening the fridge, closing the fridge. So it means that bacteria is going to enter every time you do that. So I really can't say exactly how long, but I still think that 2-3 weeks is really too long to have food in the fridge.
The House of Assembly's Christmas recess was temporarily put on hold this morning. That's because members of Parliament were summoned to the lower house, even though it had been adjourned to January 14th next year, when they met earlier this week. Speaker of the House Arthur Holder explained that the move was necessary after the Senate made several amendments to the Tourism Levy Bill 2019 and was now seeking the House of Assembly's concurrence. It was suggested by the Leader of the House that it was in the public's interest to debate these changes before sittings were scheduled to resume in 2020. In moving the resolution, Minister in the Ministry of Finance Ryan Strawn said it reflects changes following announcements in this year's budget related to the tourism sector and in particular the shared economy and delivery of tourism services via digital platforms.
We have long been committed to engaging members of the community in terms of engaging them in tourism, providing tourism services, and we believe that the amendments as stated here and moving forward with respect to the digital side of the economy and the delivery of some of these services, that this will allow for a platform where a larger number of persons will be able to actively engage in us clearly in a coordinated way with respect to being able to provide tourism services, and that the government, working certainly with all the stakeholders, will be able to ensure that we're able to adequately supply the appropriate level of regulation.
Barbados has fallen 7 places to number 28 on the Global Gender Gap Report 2020. The index benchmarks the progress towards gender parity in 153 countries. According to the latest report, however, Barbados is among the 10 best performers in the Economic Participation and Opportunity Sub-Index, having closed 80.8% of the gender gap. In fact, Barbados is the only country in Latin America and the Caribbean that is close to achieving gender parity in labor force participation, as 75% of women and 80% of men are in the labor market today. In the area of educational attainment, the country ranked 79th. However, it placed first in the subsections of literacy and enrollment in both secondary and tertiary education. The Salvation Army is still short of the $700,000 target for its 2019 Christmas kettle appeal. That's the word from its business manager, Sherma Evelyn.
We are short roughly $290,000. for the Christmas target. The target was 700,000, and now, right today, we are at $410,000. So we are behind 290. But this goes out to end of January, and there are persons who will give us in January, because we have sent out our mail appeal through the various media. So we believe that we will make it. But we implore Barbadians to keep giving.
She was speaking to the media on the sidelines of the Army's annual Christmas feeding initiative, which catered to a record 350 people who collected the required tickets for that event. Ms. Eveling also revealed more Barbadians approached the Army for help this year.
We started 2019 with 150 persons on our feeding program, and now we have 200 persons on our feeding program. And that includes those who eat at the feeding center every day, plus those who are on the Meals on Wheels program.